This episode of Rolled Up is brought to you by Tatami Fightwear, Defense Soap. Defense keeps you on the mat. And Shock Doctor. Hardcore protection, fearless performance. I'm an avid traveler, CEO of BudoVideos.com, and lifelong student of the martial arts, who strives to know more about the competitors and instructors who are revolutionizing the Jiu-jitsu lifestyle. Join me in my journey as I train, learn, and get rolled up. Chicago, birthplace of the skyscraper and home to the deep dish pizza pie. For the almost 3 million people who call the second city home, there's a true continental climate to enjoy. All 4 seasons share an equal cut of the calendar. Wet springs give way to hot, often humid summers which melt into cool autumns before ultimately transitioning into the cold, storied winters that so many identify the city with. To practitioners of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the name Carlson Gracie is as synonymous with the Windy City as are the like of monikers such as Wrigley or Ditka. Carlson Gracie Sr. is a legendary character in the annals of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. Forever remembered as the first in the family to slip out of the Ghee and challenge all comers from a myriad of other fighting styles, Carlson Sr. is revered as a pioneer of what is today known as mixed martial arts. In 2001, he matriculated to Chi-Town, and today, his son, Carlson Gracie Jr., lengthens the legacy by running the team.
Been training with juniors since 2004 actually. Got out the military, came here. Actually, Carlson Sr. was still up here too, so I got the opportunity to train with his father as well as junior. The train different here is the lineage. We got such a rich, direct lineage, you know, starting from Carlos Gracie down to the senior, down to junior, so we have an enriched set of techniques and a lot of detailed techniques. I think that's what makes it different from other schools.
The very first class that I did with Junior, I got choked out. I went to sleep. And it was an eye-opening experience for me. From when I had always seen it on the UFC and all that kind of stuff, I had heard about it. But to actually be put to sleep by his technique from one of the students was my sign that that was the place that I needed to train.
One friend invited me to come to Chicago and introduced me to Junior. I get my black belt in 2010, December of 2010. My relationship with Junior is very close. Junior is, I think, is my best friend here in Chicago. Helped me a lot.
Two days a week I help Junior with the kids program, and it's just a good way for me to learn how to teach. So when I transition, just learning a lot of stuff from Junior. I would describe him as dedicated to the gym. He tries to be here as much as he can. He flies around to his other gyms and still makes it here. Still at like every tournament. The first time I came here, everyone was super friendly. The next day I signed up, I checked out a couple gyms in the Chicago area. I like this gym the most.
The more important thing that I learned with him is like be a good man, honest person, and always training hard, no matter if you win or you lose, but give you always your 100% in the ring or in the match. I would describe him like man, is the big heart that I haven't met in my life. He's always have his students like sons, like really how can I say? He look like a dad for his students. Look like a big dad.
So Carlson, what do you want to show today?
I want to show a simple sweep coming for the half guard, for the open guard, and from there we're gonna do a sequence sweep, finishing. You can choose like what you want to do, to go to the choke, or go for a knee lock, or go for the mount position. Okay. All depends on the situation. Okay. So first of all, usually when the guy standing up, they usually try grab the knees to put you down, So the first thing you do, you have to pull the arms for make sure he don't walk back and open the leg, and then you break the grip, back to it again. If you try break here, it's a bit kind of difficult because he will be able to like push your knee, walk to the side, so you get a little bit of angle and open your leg and break the grip. Then you're back to the guard. So here, you're in the spider guard. Mostly like, it's not 100% of the time, the guy will go here, or he try continuous with the open guard. So what you do is, when you think like you're gonna do the hook here, you just go inside, foot on the ground, and you start lifting hand, and turning it to the side, and go to the top. Let's do one more time. So as you grab it here, you just like make sure you stretch him a little bit and open the leg for make his grip a little bit weak. So you kick the leg and break, back in, other side, same thing. So you come in here, you're doing guard. So if you squat down a little bit, you just move a little bit to the side to create angle, to get this hook to continue the open guard, or you just stick your leg right in the middle. Pull, start pulling hand, lift, flip your hand to the top, and move to the top. It's very simple sweep, The reason I like this sweep is because it's a surprise move. He expects you gonna continue to the open guard, and then you straight to go with the hook inside. Okay, and it's so simple. It's kind of easy for the person try block the sweep. So we'll go for a sequence sweep. Okay, so which one it is? So when I do the move, I open, so I escape a little bit, then I go to the hook. So I try lifting, he start like a squat down, so I just touch a little bit and I go under the leg. See? When I go under the leg, my right foot start pushing my hip inside and my knee start moving out, provoking him to put his hand on the ground where he's gonna be losing the base. So what I do now, I keep him in this momentum and I just open a little bit and get the other hook in. Pull, come up to the top. Okay, so here I got a full control because I control his leg, which one gonna help him to skip the hip and pull his arm. So when I go one, I come in, lock, and do a knee lock. Okay, one more time. So I'm going there, 1, 2, escape, come in. So as soon as the moment I see he sit down, I just touch and go under. Okay, go here. So I can actually try to go for the X guard if you want, or you just open, touch heel. So easy. He's a full control. Come up to the top. So if I want to go to the mount position, I just pass my arm, sit, and score 6 points there.
Carlson, your father is a very unique figure in the Gracie family. Can you tell me a little bit about what's different about him than other Gracie family members?
Well, first of all, because I think he was the oldest one after my grandfather and my uncle William, which was really actually grow the Jiu-jitsu in Brazil. So I think the next one was my father, and he was really into the tournament thing, the competition, the MMA. So, and that's his spirit, and that's the spirit he try best for his students. So I think that's making him unique. And other thing too, he was not much care about, money, and which one is a big business right now. And I think that's why making him unique, because everybody go like to train with him and say, well, Carlson will help you out even if you don't have money for learning, and that's how the kind of environment I grow. It's kind of difficult to pick it up in the business when you grow in that kind of environment, So, but he's a great person, and I think everybody here in Chicago will remember him, because he dedicated his time here for like 5-6 years, till his passed away. And he loves it here, he just says it's so cold, but he's still saying, I love it here, and I don't want to move. You know, I tried setting him up to go California, but he say, no, I stay in Chicago.
Why did he come here? Because like you say, a lot of Brazilians love the warm weather. Why did he come to Chicago?
Well, the reason was I've been here since '96, you know. Right now, you know, the academy is like as big as it could be. But in that time, I actually asked him, say, you don't want to move to Chicago, help me out, you know, like build up our new MMA team, you know, forget about what happened in the past, build up new fighters, you know, new jiu-jitsu team. And he said, why not, you know? And then he came here, everybody embracing him, so he loved it. And it's so beautiful, you know? He lived like 2 blocks from the academy, you couldn't get him out of there.
Right.
So it was beautiful.
I know he focused a lot on MMA, but do you think he was the first Gracie family member to train without the gi?
He was the first one to fight without the gi, you know? He's innovated the style, you know? All the Gracies before, they all fighting with the gi, and a lot of them like follow him up after they actually figured out it was better to fight without the gi. But the problem is the skills they have was not too strong as my daddy was, you know. My dad is well built, you know. Like I say, he's the eldest son. He's straight to learn from my grandfather, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu creator, you know. And he innovated the style, you know. And I think that was the reason, you know, the no-gi style of his time was so strong, because it's a new thing. Not many people used to fight a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy using, not using a gi, you know? So it was not common.
And why did he take off the gi for competition? Was he challenged by a Lucha Libre guy or something?
I think he believed like they could hold it, wasn't true. I asked him one time, why you took off your gi? And I say, well, for they don't hold me, you know? I have so much skill, and I couldn't deal without the gi, you know? And I believe my daddy, you know, many people say, oh no, we have many good fighters in the family, but you know, like my father, I never see. And I don't think I would see it, you know? In my life, I will never see, like, can be all the MMA fighters, I respect all them, but you know, my dad was so skillful and so strong and so mentally prepared, that's making him so strong overall, you know.
Do you think you've gotten close to his level?
Me? No way, not even close, you know. So but I learned a lot of his spirit, you know, the way to train people, the way to treat the students, and that's why keep me growing, like many people like him, you know.
What was unique about the way he taught?
He gave his life for the students, you know. He dedicated his time for them, you know. So he really enjoyed the thing. Like I said, it was not for money. It's because he wants to do it. That's the difference. One thing it is when you do because you get paid for. Other thing it is when you do because you really love it, you know. That's the difference. Last one we can do is going for the choke, okay? Choke. I don't know how they call, you know, this choke in America, but Brazil all calls him kind of choke, like it's a choke. So we just go to the side, come in, start going to the sweep, go under, start escape, push your hand to the edge, open, hook, lift, come up, right away I pass my hand. So now here, I just trap, you know, his arm and his body and my 4 fingers. See, can you lift it a little bit, just for this, see? Right there, I grab 4 fingers, pass, then I start move, thumb, and I finish with the choke.
It's nice.
First sweep is very good for tournament. The other ones you require more switch, but you can actually, with time, you can get a good control.
Plenty familiar with the legend of Carlson Gracie Sr., it was time to get better acquainted with his son, Carlson Jr., and learn more about his philosophies on teaching, training, and the jiu-jitsu lifestyle. So a lot of guys don't want to do what their father did. Maybe they don't have the passion to do it, but it seems like you're really into teaching jiu-jitsu. Is that true?
Well, Yeah, I'm really into that, you know. I try to do what my dad will be doing now, you know. And when I born, you know, we didn't have much chance in the Grace family. The first thing they give you is a kimono, you know. You get a gi, and you actually introduced for the academy. When I was young, I don't even really think about go training. For me, it was a kind of play park, you know. And I go there, I bring like you know, a socks ball with some like a newspaper inside. You know, I really like soccer, so I used to dribble between the people sparring and say, get out of here, you know. And I said, no, I'm just driving. Quick, go, everybody, get out of here, pick me up, throw outside. So that's the kind of environment you grow. So when you see, you're already good. You don't even feel like, you know. So that's the kind of mentality, you know, for my new young students. I try to make sure they defend themselves for don't get hit, because it's kind of dangerous, you know. These days it's very easy, people come and hit you, and you know, problem for the parents. So I try there, look, we don't use this for hurt people. We just use this for protect yourself, you know. And that's how I feel when I was young. My dad always say, you can't use this until one day, you know, a kid come to me and try to hit me, and I throw him on the ground. He look at me and say, he say like, you can't fight. And I say, no. I say, I'm not supposed to fight, but I know how, you know. I just defend myself, so you better walk away, you know, otherwise I'm gonna do it again. So, and that's the kind of mentality my dad always passed, you know. My dad is always against you fight out in the street, you know. You have to build up, you know, characters, you know, like a people with personality, where they can actually pass over in many kind of situations and walk forward if they don't have a problem, you know. Just say, look, I don't want to do this, and just walk away. We learned this for competition to pass along to people, you know, and make people happy. You know, Jiu-Jitsu is a happy sport. You see how it grow in the last years. You know, that's just my daddy mentality, you know. You have to teach as much as we can. For many people like, and many people practice, you know. That was my grandfather's idea, build up, you know, something where everywhere, which one is right now, everywhere in the world they have a martial arts. Right. And it is, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is everywhere, you know. You cannot, I think you barely find a country where they don't have a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Right. You see how big it got in America? It was explosion, you know. And they already took over and built up like to a mixed martial arts and money making, you know. That's how it is, you know. You know, and that's just like the, you know, like when I was growing, you know, the way I feel about is like just show up in the academy, play my soccer, you know, try to choke some kids, they try to choke me back, but we never really think about it. That's what we're gonna do in the street, you know. So keep, you know, focus on the martial arts side, you know. So that's what is the whole idea. You know?
Your father had a reputation for being a really tough guy. Was it difficult for you to fill that role, being his son?
You know, look, I won many tournaments. You probably know that. My dad never say you did good. Just say, look, you just did what you're supposed to do it. So, win or lose, you just say you gotta go compete, you know. But if you win, he never come, oh, you did so great, you know, like, oh, pull you up. So like you see these days, parents, oh, you know, growing a martial arts family is nothing more than you supposed to do it, you know. So. That's never this come up in my head. You know, people say Carlson Gracie Sr. is a normal guy. You know, he don't ever like a disrespect to nobody. Never say he's better than nobody. You know, he just, you know, build up a big team now, and you know, try to teach you know, his students and help out people as much as he can. But this never become over my head. You know, right. Be a Carlson Gracie son. So that's how I try to keep my son too. You know, right. Don't try to tell him. You know, my wife sometimes say like, oh, our son is going to be so famous, he don't even have idea. I say, well, he will find out one day, you know. But it's this recognition come up when you're a nice guy. Otherwise, people will hate you, you know. Right. Don't matter who you are. The people just remember what kind of attitude you have, and not, you know, your accomplishments, you know. So, you know, so that's basically what I think about it, you know. All right, guys, so now I'm gonna show passing the guard. You know, it's like everybody, you know, usually have a big problem with the hooks, you know, when they use like a butterfly guard. And that's what the Carlson Gracie team famous for, passing the guards. So I'm gonna show one of, typical passing the guards. It's very simple. The importance of pass the guards is to control the hips. If you can't control the hips, the guy gonna move around, then you can pass. So I'm just gonna show the basic control, and then from there, go to the pass, okay? So Jake right here. So right now, they usually put both hooks right here, like here, and control like as a butterfly guard. So what you do here, you cannot allow him to move back, so you just hold the hips. So you can bring him, pull the leg, put your leg over, other one, pull, control. So when you get to here, you got to squeeze your knees for stopping him to start opening the knees. So you stay right there, control the belt. So 1, 2, and pass. Very simple, Doesn't really matter if he does actually. The problem here, if you control the belt, in this moment here, he probably be able to start moving the hips. So just make sure you suck it in. So go 1, pull back, 2, and then squeeze. Go to the belt. Even if he hold the sleeve, he'll not be able to stop you to do this. So he'll be having the hand here. You just swing, switch your base, and pass. Very simple, Like I said, gotta control the hips.
So let's talk about Carlson Gracie Jiu-Jitsu for a moment. My impression of it is that, look at the logo, 2 aggressive looking bulldogs. So it seems to me it's more aggressive, maybe more suited for MMA, probably maybe more emphasis on the top game than the bottom game. Is that true?
The bulldog come up because one time a student of my father, he came up at the school and he has this kind of statue, it was a bulldog statue. And then he looked at the bulldog, Carlson, I brought for you because I think he looked like you, like a tough guy, strong guy. And then after that day, we developed that design, and about the style, I think all jiu-jitsu is the same. I think maybe the Carlson Gracie style is a little bit more aggressive for the fact that my daddy's style of jiu-jitsu is more like more pushing, like I always try to make the first step, move, keep it moving, like not expecting too much for the opponent, always try to make it happen, And that's, I think, why the Carlson Gracie style is more useful for MMA, because MMA you have to make the move, otherwise next thing you see, you get hit in the face, and you could see not saying bad about other people, but the biggest successful team on the all Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in MMA, the only one is Carlson Gracie. We have a few here and there, but my daddy have thousands of fighters, The other teams, they have one guy here or the guy there, but our team, most of them, I would not say 100% because I might be wrong, but I would say 95% of the guys come up for the Carlson Gracie team to MMA, they are successful, and they are well known everywhere. That's what they call the champion factor,
Right.
Not just Jiu-Jitsu, but MMA too,
What do you think is the big difference between Carlson Gracie Jiu-Jitsu and other schools? Why aren't the other guys?
I think the spirit, the spirit of my father towards to the students, make it more lovable, like the guys really, Carlson. Even the people right now is not more in the team, they still, Carlson, love him. Even they have a disagreements, I think that's understandable, people sometimes don't have an agreement, I'm not agree what he think, but you always, like I said, you always love the person. You never forget who the person are, but sometimes, money-wise things, directions in life, so sometimes you disagree, but you never forgot what the person was for you, So that's why I think the spirit of my father live until today and will live forever. That he will never die. Sometimes I'm in a house, I listen to his voice, Junior! And so, oh my God, he's here now, So you always remember the person, give you the right thoughts in the right moments, I I see like many of my students, like when my daddy was here, my daddy couldn't speak English, so he tried coach, you know, because that's always he do. He was the first guy go to the tournament, last guy to leave. Every day, every tournament. It don't matter what's the level of the tournament. So sometimes our students compete and they're losing, and he try coach, you know. He say, tell him this, but the guy don't understand him because he don't speak much English. And he coach, come in and tell him this. And I say, my voice is not too loud. I say, you tell him that. So my dad used to say, look, you losing, you have to win. All of a sudden the guy get up and turn around, they go and choke the guy or kimura the guy or whatever. So it's the spirit, you know, because it's like, oh, my father right there is screaming at me. Like, even if it wasn't, they feel like, you know. I remember my dad when he's teaching in our old school, you know. Finish the class, everybody go lunch, like a big group. Say, how you can get all these guys to not go to work, to go to lunch? They just want to sit down here and talk, you know. That's the kind of environment and the spirit he passed his whole life, you know, for the students. People like to be around here. You know, I remember in Brazil, we stayed at the academy till 11 midnight, you know. People sit down and talk. My dad there playing his French music, and people enjoy. So it's good times, you know. I kind of miss his screaming in my ear, so you know, I miss, you know. It was good. Sometimes, you know, get you in the right time, you know. So you have like, say, man, get out the bottom, sweep it, go to the top. You stay like, so you have to move, you know, do something, you know, in any situation, you know. So not just about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Right. Speaking of MMA, there was a time when a jiu-jitsu black belt could go into MMA and destroy everybody because people didn't know what he was doing.
Exactly.
How do you feel now when you see a jiu-jitsu black belt going against maybe a wrestler who's had no jiu-jitsu training but has just enough to be able to stop him and win the match?
Well, jiu-jitsu is a very technical move. It's being at the point where they very expert with the Ghee. It's not that mean they're expert in MMA. MMA, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a whole different thing. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in these days is some asset for a mixed martial arts. Before was a really mixed martial arts, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy against a karate guy. But the karate guy not go to a MMA show without anything in the ground. He don't go anymore. Same thing with the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy. They have to go train some box, some Muay Thai. But what I believe it is, many of those guys, they keep forgetting about where they come from. And they not try get more skillful when they take it out the Ghee, and they try learn how boxing, kick and punch. Why? Because they get paid better if they get a knockout of the night. So it's all money. So, I mean, the situation now, it is a wrestler guy learning how to avoid jiu-jitsu. So the guy can't submit him, so he's not gonna get the submission of the night. So he tries strikes. Which one is, how you gonna strike against an expert? It's like the guy tried to do, he not fight you, he block you. You should learn enough just to get the guy down and finish it. But no, they come in, put their hands up and try punch and kick, and what happened? Knock down. You know, and if you're not, keep getting hit, and you know, slowly they losing energy at the point where they have to do something crazy, and then the knockout coming. Right. You know, it's like rules, about the rules now, you know, the rules is very different, you know, and it was not like before. It's like people really come in to say, I'm gonna prove I'm better. Now it's more points, and it's more like sport. You know, I think it's a good thing, but you have to be smart in these days to be a mixed martial arts champion. You know, some guys like skillful, like Jose Aldo, he knocked out everybody, but it's not easy for him either. You know, he is smart at the point where he go to the ground, he do his things, he get up, he got a good standing up, but he's a quality stand-up fighter. It's not like you picking up a black belt jiu-jitsu. They barely know how to do a throw. How they gonna know how to punch and kick, you know? So it's kind of, it's difficult. People say, oh, no, I gotta learn, you know. Just because he box for the guy doesn't know anything, he think he's a boxer. So, and you go there, get punched in the face, and boom, that's it, you know? That's basically what it is, you know? That's my opinion.
So your father being the original Nogi Jiu-Jitsu guy, what's your opinion on the balance of Ghee to Nogi training that a Jiu-Jitsu guy should have?
Well, is it like I say, like some people, they use a lot of Ghees in these days, all these like rapid techniques and this and that, and they have the traditional style. If you actually know the self-defense, because that's another thing too, in these days, you're picking up a black belt, they don't know any self-defense, you know? Self-defense is very important. Self-defense, you gotta get him to the clinch easily, because he knows how to defend himself. He can defend against a kick, he defend against a knee, defend against a punch, and you gotta go to the clinch. And from there, he has to know how to take it down, you know? So it was be much easier. He learned how to take it down. They really try punch with the guy too. So it's the comparison, you know, in these days, you know, for the guy, like my father is like I say, is phenomenal. Like he actually boxed like a boxer. He kicked like a Muay Thai. He has this talent, but it's not everybody born like him. You know, I can do what he used to do. You know, he used to go to the fights and he beat the guys on standing up. He actually don't go to the ground. You know, but in these days it's very difficult. You know, like people actually, you know, they really take their time, you know. They have competitions all over the world, a million different tournaments for Muay Thai, and people travel for different countries where they're expert on this. Like many people go to Brazil to learn Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. They go to Thailand, to Holland to learn Muay Thai. They go to England, they train boxing here, they try to get the best coach. So they actually try the pure style to they learn. But it's not easy, you know, because your mentality is towards to take it down. And your brains start working. Should I take it down? Should I box? Should I take it down? Should I box? But you never know what you do. You know, I'm good in this, but you know, I have to box because, you know, I have to get the knockout, you know, and it's confusing. You know, I think for the MMA fighter, you know, the guy with the Ghee, take it off the Ghee, he can't forget. Like I said, he can't forget where are you coming from. You just have to learn enough for be able to actually apply your style, you know, so, and if you're skillful, that's like you know, you know, so that's my opinion.
This is your train station, your canvas, your metronome, your cable bridge, the steel threads of your past suspending the blueprints of your future. Your courtroom bench, you pass sentences to all those that accept mediocrity. You traverse the road less traveled, every win a friendly hitchhiker, every loss an unwanted stowaway. Your country. Defend what you have built. The natural ingredients in defense soap proven effective against grappling-related skin infections. Go to defensesoap.com to learn more.
A lot of guys say that Nogi training helps your Ghee training and vice versa. Do you think that's true?
I think that's true. If you know use the right grips, you know, they help you a lot, because some type of grips with the Ghee you don't do without the Ghee. Some type of grips without the Ghee you're not doing with the Ghee. So I think it work both ways work good, you know. But it takes some time before you start figuring that out, you know. You know, I myself, I used to do wrestling, you know. I think wrestling helped me a lot with takedowns. You know, I never have a problem to take nobody down, you know, unless they're really good, you know, like champions, like in the road championships I went to.
Or if they hold on to the cage like John Lewis?
John Lewis hold the cage. Well, I don't blame him, you know. Even if he was 5 years already doing jiu-jitsu, you know, I respect if the rules allowed, why not, you know. Then when I fought him, my daddy say, stop, try taking him down, because he's holding the fence. You're gonna spend so much energy. Try shooting in, taking him down. One of those times they're gonna hit you, and you're gonna fall like any other one. So be smart. You know, if you don't let it go the fence, even a time in the fight where he was like this, you know, like I was like, and my dad say, you got enough? So figure it out now, you know, just stay there. You know, those hits he was doing right here on the ribs was actually hurting a lot. Next day was all bruised, but it was not enough to quit. But, you know, I respect him, you know. I will not say he actually run away for the fight, even everybody else say. I'm not the right person to say because I was there fighting the guy. So I know he has his choice, you know, the rules allowed, so why not, you know? I would do the same, right. You know? I will do the same. I will not try go with an expert on the ground, even I'm doing 5 years. I think he figured out the skill on the ground is much, you know, bigger than his skills. And he said, look, I have to opt for the punch and kick, that's what I do better. And it was not working because my entrance was so quick, because the experience of wrestling, you know, and training MMA in my father's school since a little kid, you know, used to get hit in the face many times, you know, and that's why I get the chance to get the clinch, you know. It's one thing my daddy always say, the fighter, you don't see him when he hit the person. You see when he get hit. That's when you see the fighter. Because when you know, my dad used to run a tests in academy, so you want to do MMA, so let's do a test. So the guy coming to hit him, the guy already move like this, say, no, you're not good. If you cannot face the person when he hit you, you cannot do MMA, you know? So I see many people come in my father's schools with this like idea they are MMA fighter. Oh, they say, okay, let's see. So just a little training, 30 minutes, I say, look, I'm sorry. You're very tough in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you know? I don't want to say names, but you know, you're very tough Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but for MMA it's not for you. And actually the person went to MMA, he retirement was in the first fight. And then as I said, I told you, you know, you don't listen. So, you know, like when you want to be good in something, you have to find whoever can teach you that, you know? So some people, they actually go some, you know, I want to learn Jiu-Jitsu, go to like a grappling school. So you're not running Jiu-Jitsu, you're learning grappling, you know, it's like two guys rolling around. It's different when you learn Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with the people really actually knows what they're doing, you know. And with that, after that, you can actually take off your gi and develop your style, you know. Everyone has a different style, you know. Like you asked it before, like what do you think the difference of Carlson Gracie Sr? We like always move forward, you know. We're not waiting too much. Some people have a different type of style of, they like play guard. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of play guard, you know. I like to stay in the top, you know, and then especially because in the time I was growing in my daddy's school, you know, like people put so much pressure, you know, they pass in the guard so good, you don't want to be in the bottom. Because as soon as they pass your guard, man, you're just going to be able to recompose, they're going to pass again, and they're going to pass again, until you get the point where you can't recompose no more. Next thing you see, you're going to choke, or arm lock, or whatever, you know. So when you're in the top, if you know how control hooks, you know, block, you know, arm locks and triangle, you actually can move along, you know, like you can actually go without problems. But it's difficult to say this when you cannot stop the guy to pass your guard. Next thing you do, turn your back or stay there, like I say, oh my God, when are you gonna choke, you know? So that's basically what it is, you know?
Now that I'd scratched the surface, I wanted to get Carlson to open up a little more about his thoughts on modern jiu-jitsu and the future of his own team. We find a booth at his favorite Japanese restaurant and let the conversation continue. So Carlson, you seem like a pretty old school guy. Mm-hmm. What's your take on modern jiu-jitsu? Do you keep up and watch the tournaments?
Well, I go as much as I can because I have a pretty big, like a busy schedule. So two tournaments are always like coming up is like I go is to the Pan American Games and the World Champion. Lately, I've been trying go to different tournaments in different countries, like the European, just to see what the people doing there because our association growing there. And last year I was in the Australian tournament, which one was very impressive because I saw many people I don't see for many years. And I think the Jiu-Jitsu is growing there too. You know, we have a big group in Melbourne, so that's where the tournament, you know, the Melbourne Open. So I like the tournament. The European too is keep growing. I remember when it started was a one-day tournament, and now it's already 4 days, so it's keep growing. You see, it's a good thing because you see like the Jiu-Jitsu growing everywhere, you know. But myself is 2 tournaments I usually go for sure out of Chicago. You know, is the Pan Americans and the Worlds. In Chicago, I try come to the winter and the summer tournament, you know, because to support my students.
Right.
But the small tournaments, I mean, I'm not saying small, but what is not connected with the IBJJF, you know, the NAGA, when I have a chance, I go, you know. Right.
So with the competition breeds a lot of innovation. There's new techniques coming out all the time. Do you keep up with these latest techniques?
Well, it's kind of hard to keep it up. You know, you actually get some kind of good idea what it is, but what it is like I never see myself like actually doing that kind of movements. First, because I'm not that limber like I used to, and it's just because it doesn't fit in my game, you know. But it is important you actually learn some of them because we gotta teach your students, you know. You're not doing. I mean, I'm not say it's not good or it's good. I'm just saying like it's out there. You know, people gotta learn. Otherwise, you go to the tournament, you're outdated. So you have to keep yourself updated to when the people come to asking you. And I'm a very humble person. If I don't know the answer, I just say like I say a rain check. You know, give me time, and I look it up and I answer you. But I think like so many people studying the style these days, you know, probably they will get the answer right away for somebody else. You know, I believe, you know, the Gracie family is the one developed the style, but I believe too many people out there studying and actually they grow in the style, you know. So, but myself, I don't see myself doing those like 50-50 guard. I don't think I can do that. Is for the fact. You know, I believe 50-50 is very easy for the person in the MMA style, like hit you, you know, and it's kind of I think it's more for tournament style, you know, because you see they go 2 points, and you know, and many people out there say like, oh, I have the defense for the 50-50. I think it's kind of difficult to answer that kind of question, you know?
It's interesting that you have studied things other than jiu-jitsu. Most Gracie family members just do jiu-jitsu, but you studied judo for a long time, you got your black belt, and wrestling for a long time, you competed in wrestling. Are you saying that jiu-jitsu is not enough by itself?
I think like you can see like in these days, you know, the competition style, you see like, I'm not saying that's wrong or right, but I think it's look ugly. When you go to the tournament, you see the 2 guys sitting down in the bottom and who gotta stay in the top. I think that's pretty ugly. So, you know, I was never. I mean, I did it many times in tournaments like a pull guard as optional because I thought maybe I could sweep the guy right away, go to the top. But in certain situations, you gotta be in the top. So I was thinking about like, you know, that guy is a good passing guard, he got a good base, you gotta compete against the guy. So if I don't know any takedowns, that means it probably can be a disadvantage for me, you know? Or we're gonna be both like a head-to-head, like a rooster fight, and it's kind of ugly, you know? I think the fight should be like a fluid, like a move, not like many fights they stuck in the position. So this is I choose to learn the takedowns, you know? And because in my time, you know, in these days, people have the privilege to every weekend they go to tournament. When I was growing, it's like once every 3 months. So judo and wrestling will have more tournaments, so keep me in shape, you know, and give me opportunity to fly out of the state, fly out of the country, you know, like I did for the national team in wrestling. I flew to Europe, go to United States, go to Central America, so even like a northern of South America, different countries, and get to see a different culture and different styles of martial arts, you know. So that's why I chose that. It was support with my father, you know. So.
Your father's a legendary figure in the martial arts world. He's had students from all over the world. A lot of them have gone their own ways, maybe created their own organizations, BTT, ATT. Do you have a dream of bringing all these guys back together?
Honestly, not really. You know, I think some people actually already try, you know, contacted me, and I don't think it's right. You know, I believe it's not like I feel like they betray or not. I think they just chose their own path. So you chose your own path, keep your own path. You know, if you want, one time you're there and you decide to leave, so that's your wish before, maybe come up again. So why bring these people back? It will make me weak in front of my people. They can say, oh, this guy turned their back on you now. And if they accept everything and keep their mouth shut in all decisions the new group decide, that's what's not gonna be. So I don't have a reason to bring them back. As soon as they decide they do the ATT, BTT, so I agree, they're pretty strong, they're tough, they have techniques, they're quality fighters, quality teachers. So keep your style, keep your team, you know, and I run what my father left for me, you know.
What's the future of the Carlson Gracie Association?
Future Carlson Gracie Association is get very organized, get very strong, you know, and we want to be like the first team. You know, I know right now will be take a little long, but if you do it the right way, we actually can get there because many people believe in the Carlson Gracie.
As a team, will you be more focused on Jiu-jitsu, MMA, or both?
Jiu-jitsu. You know, MMA, you know, we have a group of MMA too, but I focus more on Jiu-jitsu. You know, I have experience. My father trained all these people in MMA, and they decide to do their own team, you know. Maybe because they believe they are strong enough to get their own path, so it's okay. So why bring these people back, like I just answered to you? But the Jiu-Jitsu, you know, program, if they always need a leader, which one's gonna be forward than, you know, ahead, so I can help them. But the MMA, the problem with MMA, I believe, is the MMA fighter, they require so much from you, and I believe it too is, right now, I think the guy wants to be the biggest fighter, which was the UFC, okay? UFC is buying all the shows. So you can see many other teams, they're having problems with their own fighters because they probably have 6, 7, 10 people in the same team, in the same class weight, and everyone want to be the one going to go for the title shot. And if you don't push them, they get mad, and then they fight between each other, they break up and open a new team. I think with the Jiu-Jitsu, I think everybody focuses in your own area. As long as you keep it limited. You are in Texas, so your team, you control this area, you control this area. But the MMA is too difficult because the shows everywhere. UFC, you go everywhere. And with the tournaments, when I was growing, it's not many, but now you can compete every weekend. So you actually can control the growing, you know. But with the MMA, you know, people say, I want to do the title shot. I want to do the title shot. And you say like, well, you know, it's difficult. And then you end up having to be, you don't know which one will be nice. So this guy or this guy, but you believe more in this one than this one. But this one don't want to accept it because he's going is a big problem. You know, so that's why I leave it for somebody else. So you take care of the MMA team and you deal with these guys, you know. So that's my idea, you know.
You're still in the middle of your career, but what do you want to be remembered for after you retire?
To bring my father's name up, you know, because after the breaking up, I think we're crawling a little bit to try grow. And, you know, my father was a very nice guy. He always a giver, you know, and I think he's never really organized, you know, put rules into on the academies, on the team, on the students. And I think many people took advantage of him. So I'm not saying I don't want to take advantage of me, but I want to just do the right thing.
So Carlson, your son has the unique distinction of being the first Japanese Gracie. Does that have any special meaning to you?
I think it's like Jiu-Jitsu started in Japan, you know. That's why it's a really, you know, it started in India, went China to Japan, but got stronger in Japan. And, you know, so much story about the Gracie family against the Japanese. So my wife is Japanese, my son is born in Japan. It's a unique story, you know. You know, he got the look, half Brazilian, half Japanese. I think he don't have idea, you know, but It's unique, you know. I feel proud of that, you know. First Gracie Japanese, Carlson Gracie Sr. And he's a good boy. He start training now. It's been 4 months he start. So far he's doing just self-defense. You know, I have another kids training too. You know, we don't teach them yet any kind of submissions. Mostly like a throws and you know, defense. Make sure they don't get hurt on the street. And I think it will be enough time. See, it's just 5. It will be enough time for he learn. So, and he happy. You know, he don't know. He feel like he's just going to play. You know, we bring a soccer ball. The kids play around, and he said, "Let's go play jiu-jitsu." So, same way I feel when I was young. You know.
You basically started at almost the same age, right?
Yeah, I start with 3, 3.5. So same age. You know, I want to put him to do judo. You know, he might go to Japan this year, so I want to start getting introducing him for cultural thing from Japan too. I don't want to take all, you know, his inheritance, like, you know. I want to know about the history about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you know, coming from Japan to Brazil. You know, we actually fought many Japanese people to come to what it is now. But, you know, a beautiful thing in Japan is they have an excellent judo, so I want to learn that too, take advantage. You know, not just because I'm thinking he should be the best fighter, but, you know, for he be able to, you know, when he have a kid, he can teach his kid too. So it's a great opportunity for him.
Born into BJJ royalty, Carlson Gracie Jr. has become the good king, benevolently presiding over a grateful kingdom of enthusiastic jiu-jitsu players. While his father may have forged his reputation as a fearless fighter of men, his only son has embraced the more genteel dynamics of the gentle art. It is this combination of tenacity and tenderness that give the Carlson Gracie team a style as distinct as the city they now call home.